What's up, guys? Alvaro here, and welcome back to the Bilingual Stock Market channel. In today's video, I am going to be reviewing from a technical standpoint three stocks that you guys love trading. I am talking about Palantir, Advanced Micro Devices, and Tesla, and obviously I will also be reviewing from a technical standpoint the ETF of the S&P 500, the SPY. By the way, keep in mind that tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the CPI data report coming out. Some people say the CPI, myself included. So whatever, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have some macro news that could be giving rise to volatility. So that implies that the technical analysis that I am about to show you guys is subject to market volatility if that were the case once the CPI data report comes out. And without further ado, let's get started. So this is a 4-hour chart of the SPY, the ETF of the S&P 500. The SPY went up today 1%, and it closed the trading session at $561.32, a brand new all-time highs, baby. When you guys take a look at this 4-hour chart of the SPY, what do you guys visualize? What do you guys see? Well, this is a super clear uptrend. The SPY is trading above the 200, the 100, the 50, the 20, and the 5-day moving average. And all of these moving averages are upward sloping. So this implies that the SPY is under the total control of who? Of buyers. There is no reason whatsoever to try to guess a top over here. So I was reading some comments of some people today, and some market participants were saying that, you know, wow, this push to the upside of the SPY is insane, and the SPY has gone up for 7 consecutive trading sessions in a row, and this is insane. No, that isn't insane. That is not insane. That is what usually happens when you have such a clear uptrend as the one that we are seeing in the case of the SPY. What is really insane is seeing some market participants trying to guess a top with this super clear uptrend. That is the real insanity. So you don't short an uptrend unless you see clear signals that sellers are starting to show up. If I zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, what could be signaling that some sellers are showing up in the case of the SPY? What about breaking to the downside the upward sloping 5-day moving average at around $556? That could be signaling that in minor time frames, sellers are starting to kind of gain control in the case of the SPY. So the 5-day moving average at around $556 is broken to the downside, I might be shorting the SPY via put options. But on the flip side, what about buying the dip? Because in uptrends, the more likely outcome in case of a pullback is that that pullback ends up being bought up. So $556 in the upcoming trading sessions, say in the upcoming 2 or 3 trading sessions, is going to be a very important spot. Maybe tomorrow we have an overheated CPI data report and the markets freak out and stuff like that. Well, I am going to keep an eye on $556. If I happen to confirm support at around that level, I might be a buyer of the dip. Or on the flip side, if $556 happens to be broken to the downside, on preferably higher volume than usual, I could be thinking about grabbing put options over here. But can the SPY keep melting up? Of course it can. How higher? I don't know. What about $565? What about $570? What about $600? There are no buyers trapped above the current price of the SPY. This is a super clear uptrend. So make no mistakes, guys. And I am not saying that the SPY is going to go up to $600, but this is a technical chart that as of now is signaling more upside rather than downside. And before shorting such a clear uptrend, you need to wait for sellers to show some sort of strength, as I just said, by, I don't know, maybe breaking $556 to the downside. So we'll see what happens. I think that the SPY might be kind of due for some sort of pullback, but I am not trying to. I am not going to be guessing a top in the case of the SPY. And this technical chart is letting us know that more upside is definitely in the cards. Okay, let's go over Tesla. What happened in the case of Tesla today? It kept going higher. So Tesla went up today 0.35% and it closed the trading session at $263.26. I think that at present, Tesla has been going up for something like 11 trading sessions. So wow, I mean it's been a super impressive performance from Tesla. But what do we see here on the 4-hour chart? Take a look. A super clear uptrend, other than the fact that the 200-day moving average is still downward sloping. So the fact that the 200 DMA is still downward sloping is some sort of very little bearish case that we can put on the table in the case of Tesla. But other than this fact, this is a technical chart. You guys are looking at a 4-hour chart of Tesla. This is a technical chart that is under the absolute control of buyers. Take a look. Upward sloping 5-day, 20, 50, and 100-day moving average. So this technical chart that is under the control of buyers is letting us know that more upside is possible. Would I be chasing Tesla over here? No, not really, because this push to the upside is a bit extended. So I would rather wait for some sort of pullback down to $255. $255 happens to be a previous resistance back from mid-December of last year. That, by the way, happens to coincide with the upward sloping 5-day moving average. So this could be a spot in which I would be interested in buying the dip in the case of Tesla, hoping for a push or hoping for some sort of a bounce back up type of situation. But let's say that Tesla keeps going higher. What could be the next potential spot, or what could be the next potential gap that Tesla could be filling to the upside? What about $278? $278 happens to be a previous resistance back from mid-September of last year. Can Tesla keep going higher and fill this gap once and for all? Of course it can. This is a technical chart that is under the absolute control of buyer. I wouldn't be a participant or a direct participant in that trade because, as I just said, I would rather wait for some sort of pullback down to the 5-day moving average at $255 in order to try to start a long trade in the case of Tesla. If we take a look at the market structure of Tesla, and again, for those who are watching a video of the Bilingual Stock Market channel for the first time, this is a market structure chart. So what you guys can see, or what you guys are seeing on top of this chart, is the demand, buyers. And at the bottom, you guys can see the supply, demand buyers, supply sellers. So what do you see over here in the case of the demand? The demand is clearly rising. I mean, I should not even say rising. It is through the roof. And take a look at the supply. The supply is also rising, which is not necessarily positive, and it is slightly above average. When I say average, I am talking about this dotted line that I am pointing out with my mouse. But take a look at how the level of the demand is way higher relative to the level of the supply. That implies, in practical terms, that in minor time frames, Tesla is under the absolute control of buyers. And we can reconcile this market structure chart with the fact that we can see over here an upward sloping 5-day moving average. So Tesla, as of now, is in total control of buyers in both minor time frames and also major time frames, other than the fact, in the case of major time frames, other than the fact that that we are seeing over here, a downward sloping 200-day moving average. But if Tesla keeps going higher, this downward sloping 200 DMA is going to start to rise little by little. And take a look at another very bullish situation in the case of Tesla. Over here, you guys can see anchored volume weighted average price lines, or AVWAPs. So take a look at this AVWAP that I am pointing out with my mouse, this blue line. This is an AVWAP that comes from the all-time highs of Tesla. Tesla hit $409 back in November of 2021. So what information is this anchor VWAP sending us? Well, the fact that this anchor VWAP is, as of now, signaling $222 implies, for the most part, that every single market participant that ever started a position on Tesla is making money as of now. And why? Well, take a look. So the market participants that started positions in Tesla when Tesla hit its highest price ever, well, those market participants as of now have an average price of let me double check on this. Okay, $225. Those market participants have an average price of $225. They are making money. So that implies that we don't have any important levels of overhead supply above the current price of Tesla that could be potentially acting as levels of resistance. That implies that why not Tesla could be easily, but super easily, filling this gap up to $278 right away. It is very possible. I am not going to be a participant on that trade because I would rather wait for a pullback, as I just said. So watch out for support for Tesla near $255. And I don't know. Do we have $278 coming up for Tesla sooner rather than later? Who knows? That might be the case. Okay. Palantir, the Messi of AI. What is going on over here? So Palantir went up today 3.76% and it closed the trading session at $28.42. Take a look at this 4-hour chart, guys. Simply beautiful. Upward sloping 200, 50, 100, 20, and 5-day moving average. Actually, Palantir hit today a brand new 52-week high. This is another technical chart that is under the absolute control of buyers, no doubt about it. If we take a look at the market structure of Palantir, let's take a look at the supply and the demand of the Messi of AI, according to the knives. What do we have here? Take a look. Pretty much the same situation of Tesla. The demand is rising. Okay, remember, on top of this chart, you guys can see the demand and at the bottom the supply. So the demand is rising and above the level of the supply. The supply is also starting to rise and it is slightly above average, but the level of the supply is higher the level of the demand is higher relative to the level of the supply. That implies that Palantir is under the absolute control of buyers in minor timeframes. So what would be my trading plan in the case of Palantir? So any process of consolidation, in my opinion, any process of consolidation above $28.48, which happens to be a previous resistance at which Palantir failed in yesterday's trading session, is bullish behavior that could be signaling more upside for Palantir. So say that Palantir closes candle and consolidates above $28.50 approximately. What could be the next potential gap to the upside? What about $31.50? This is a previous resistance from, guess what, guys? Or get this, guys. November of 2020. This would be a major breakout for Palantir. We can also make a case here that at around $30, we have a previous resistance. This is a previous resistance back from November of 2021. So we have two important gaps to the upside, and with the good momentum that Palantir is trading with as of now, I wouldn't be surprised if the bulls of Palantir can take out $30. We can round this up and right away fill this other gap up to $31.50 approximately. Previous levels of resistance, as I just said, back from September of 2021 and also back from November of 2020. So this is a very good looking chart. Another potential scenario in the case of Palantir would be some sort of profit taking down to a previous level of resistance at $27.40. This is a previous resistance back from early March of this year. So this is a previous resistance that now might be acting as a new support I could be interested maybe in buying the dip on Palantir in obviously regular market conditions near $27.50. And if we take a look at anchor VWAPs in the case of the Messi of AI, let's see what anchor VWAPs do we see over here. Palantir, there you go. Take a look, guys. So we can visualize two VWAPs here. So the first one would be this white line that I am pointing out with my mouse. This is an VWAP that comes from where? From the all-time highs of Palantir, which was hit in February of 2021. Well, these market participants, or the market participants that started positions on Palantir back in January of 2021, and obviously those market participants did average down on their positions, well, they have an average price of $17. They are sitting on very nice gains. And this other VWAP that you guys can see over here, the blue one, comes from the last earnings report of Palantir. Well, those market participants that started positions on Palantir when this company posted their last earnings report, well, they have an average price of $23. So we can say that pretty much, or we can make a case here that the most recent market participants that started positions on Palantir have an average price of $23, and we can also make a case that the market participants that started positions in Palantir, since Palantir hit its highest price ever, they are also sitting on nice gains. And obviously that implies that we don't have any important levels of overhead supply above the current price of Palantir. This is bullish, absolutely bullish. So I wouldn't be surprised of seeing Palantir consolidating above $28.40 and therefore being able to feel this next two gaps to the upside that I just mentioned up to first $29.80, $30, and why not $31.50 approximately. So we'll see what happens with Palantir. So good job for the bulls of the Messi of artificial intelligence. And before I wrap it up, let's take a look at advanced micro devices. This stock was absolutely dead, and take a look. It is starting to go higher. So AMD went up today 3.87%, and it closed the trading session at $183.96. This is a very good looking chart above all the moving averages. The 5-day moving average is upward sloping, and AMD put on today a brand new higher high on this 4-hour chart that you guys are seeing over here. So take a look at this level of resistance, guys, at which the bulls of AMD felt at today, $187. This is a previous resistance back from early April of this year. So the bulls, as of now, weren't able to burst above $187. So obviously bursting above $187 is super bullish, and that could be signaling that we have higher prices coming up for AMD. In case of a pullback, I might be interested in starting a long position on AMD if we happen to see a test of the 5-day moving average, of the upward sloping 5-day moving average at around $175. And take a look at how this upward sloping 5-day moving average happens to coincide with what? With a previous resistance for AMD at which this stock fell back in late May at around, as I just said, $175. So this could be a potential level of demand, from which buyers could be stepping in. So I would be a buyer of the dip at $175, and why not? I would be thinking about starting a long position on AMD above $187 once I confirmed that buyers regained control of this level. If we take a look at the market structure of advanced micro devices, let me take a look at AMD. And by the way, guys, and I said this on the video that I posted. In the video that I posted last week, you guys know that I do live stream throughout the whole training session. So when I film or when I make these after hours videos or after hour videos, my mind is already a bit tired. So if you guys notice any mistakes here and there, then I do apologize for those potential mistakes. Take a look at the market structure of AMD, guys. What is the demand doing? Rising. What is the supply doing? Going down. This market structure chart is super bullish. So I wouldn't be surprised, guys, and especially if, the good momentum on most of the semiconductor stocks keep going. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the bulls of AMD taking out $187 and keep going higher. I don't know, maybe up to a previous resistance, up to $194. This is, for the most part, possible. And if we take a look at some anchor VWAPs in the case of AMD, what do we see over here? Let's go ahead and take a look. AMD. So the most important anchor VWAP that I can point out in the case of AMD, guys, would be this white line that comes from the all-time highs of AMD. AMD hit $226 back in early March of this year. So these market participants have an average cost as of now of $168. This is another potential spot in order to buy the dip on AMD, and I would even say that as long as the bulls of AMD keep trading above $168, we have higher prices coming up for AMD more likely than not. So say that this potential level of support that I just pointed out at $176 is broken to the downside, and therefore the upward sloping 5-day moving average is broken to the downside. I would also be interested in buying the dip at around $167, $168, because this anchor VWAP that comes from the all-time highs of AMD is a potential, the keyword is potential, area of demand or support for the bulls of AMD. So with advanced micro devices, I am going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow, because tomorrow I am going to be live streaming for the community of Crescent. And once I am done streaming, I am going to be, let's say, sharing that live stream openly on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, guys. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.